Going live on YouTube. So we'd like for you to show your picture. Do you mind?
Or video.
Or video, rather.
Yay! Good thing I got a haircut. So let me just light up where I am.
There we go.
Okay.
And make sure I'm good. I'll put some
like triplets, like.
So you're gonna sit here. I'm gonna sit.
Kind of the door, please.
Great, we're good.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Hello, nice to meet you all.
Okay.
This background work, or is it better this way?
Get tools to help you become a successful entrepreneur. Business launch.
Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. Welcome to the Business Hub right here on Smooth 98.1. Rotus is in the studio with us to talk about everything.
Yes, indeed. Hello, President Zibi. Hello, Coyote. Hello to all our listeners out there. Good to be with you all again on another episode of Business Hub on the Drive Time. Coyote, how you doing?
Great. Good.
Fantastic. So Lagos, we have a special guest with us because we're talking about a number of things. We're talking about building fruitful partnerships for SMEs, fundraising, also beating poverty and assisting, traders and artisans with microcredit. And joining us to discuss this, we have Ier Jonathan-Ichaver, who is a expert in SME in partnerships, and also she's a consultant actually. So when it comes to partnerships and fundraising, also a member of I believe it's the governing council of the Grooming Centre. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely correct.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you. And Kaide, where can if folks want to jump on in? How do they jump in?
All right, so you can reach out to us on our WhatsApp platform. Now, the number to call is 0809-444-0981. That's our WhatsApp number. And,
so text, right?
Yes,
not
for
call.
text, actually. And you can call the studio line, 0144-89981.
All right, fantastic stuff. So Ier, again, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you being here with us. So lots to talk about.
Thank you for having us on. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Where do we start? Got so many questions for you. Okay. Yeah, we actually had some multiple choice. We had some multiple choice questions because trying to scale SMEs, artisans, traders and the likes. We know they don't make a lot of money, but building them up. So I think I wanted to throw a poverty question at you, right? The best strategy for tackling poverty, A, is it money? Because that's what the Grooming Centre does. I believe the Grooming Centre gives out microcredit and stuff like that. But is it A, money, B, education, C, skill building, or all of the above?
Oh, all of the above. Absolutely. All of the above.
Okay, so it's a combination.
It's a combination. And I think one of the challenges we have in our space, in our society, in Nigeria particularly, is we think we throw money at problems. And so even way back in 1999, when we got our democracy, they had all these poverty alleviation programs. A lot of them were just throwing money at people. But if you don't have the education on how to use that money, you don't have the skills on how to put that money to use and to grow it, using skills, it's actually just money down the drain. So what we do at Grooming is before we give you credit, we actually have a look at your skills. What are you doing? So a lot of skill acquisition programs typically take the time. I do a lot of work with also displaced people and women. And what we tend to do, and that's in my own personal space now, but what we found was that people who are already struggling, who are economically disadvantaged, they already have so much going on. And what we tend to do with skill acquisition programs is we say, okay, come and learn how to bid or do this or do that. And we load them with even new skills But we're not really teaching them how to manage what they already know and grow and build on it. And what we find, and so with grooming, it's a case of, okay, what are you doing already? Okay, how can we enhance your business? Okay, so you're managing money. How do you manage it? How much do you make every day? How can we help you get better at that? So part of the training they even get is things like managing your customers. So if someone comes to come and price your fish, if they don't like it, you don't go to the market. If you price the fish, the seller might tell you, if you don't like it, go to the next person. Now, I've had that happen to me. People say, no, learn how to manage that. So it's a combination of all of those.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, actually, option D was actually I named option D after a movie. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once. It wasn't all of the above. It was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which I can't wait.
Very
Yes,
apt. I think
exactly.
That movie is about a woman who just lives a very ordinary life, but finds herself in a multiverse.
Yes,
and all these she becomes this superpower.
that is correct.
Apt because again, that's what we find so many people, women especially now. So these market women we work with, you see a market woman in the market, but to her community, she's a superpower in so many ways. She's raising children, she's helping her husband. Some of these women are helping their husbands build houses, they're helping pay the school fees, they are, contributing to their communities and doing so much. So in their way, like Michelle Yeoh, who was in that movie?
Yes, that is correct. It is Michelle Yeoh, yes.
On superpowers, and stuff like that. So absolutely everything, everywhere, all at once. Yeah, spot on.
Perfect. We should, when the movie comes out in Nigeria, we should go see it with you. I think it's only right.
Don't forget, I'm going to hold you to that.
Exactly. It's a day with the Drivetime crew. Zibi, go ahead.
All right. So, Ier, I want to ask, in a parallel universe, who ideally should be eliminating poverty in Nigeria? Another multiple response question. Is it the government through its policies, or is it non-governmental organizations, the NGOs, or should it be the private sector? And there's a D, which is all of the above.
All of the above. All of the above. Again, that's because everyone has their role to play. So the government primarily should be creating an enabling environment for everybody. So for example, if you go to the markets, even today I was passing through Lagos market and I just thought, I don't like coming to this market. Not because I don't appreciate the women and the trade and all the great things you get, but it's just not an interesting experience in many ways. It's not a fun, easy experience. And that's because the roads are not there. If it rains, it floods. There's no light a lot of the time. So generators are in your ears all the time. So really what the government, their role is to provide that enabling environment. Imagine if we had power 24/7. Imagine what the women would be able to get up to. Some of them make bags, some make beads, but they have to sometimes rely on generators. Sometimes they have to get small solar lanterns, which is something we also try and facilitate and help them get, or solar power to be able to do the work and the business. So the government has its role to play. We come in to fill in the gaps as NGOs. Sorry, I thought my video had gone off. So we come in as NGOs to provide support and skills that they may not ordinarily have access to. And also provide access to finance in other ways that the government is not able to provide. So we know, for example, government has this CBN Anchor for Us program, but sometimes it's at such a high level, we're doing the micro and government may not be able to facilitate that. And then of course, the private sector, provides innovation. They provide the technology that these women now can use sometimes to market their goods or to do transfers and things like that. So it's all hands on deck. And of course the public who buys the goods and services that the women provide.
Great stuff. It's look, we tried to, and that's why we're going to have you on. We didn't just want to keep talking about just SMEs and big businesses here. It's also important to talk about the folks at the, at the lower end, the traders and so on.
The bottom of the pyramid.
Exactly. Yes, the bottom of the pyramid. So, there's a photo book. I'm not sure if it's out yet or you're releasing it soon, but the book profiles, I think 30 women or traders that have been helped, right? Okay, now it's only, it's 30. 30 it's a number, but my next question was for you was, how do you scale that kind of assistance for traders across the country? So it's another multiple, it's another multiple choice. Is it by, as far as microcredit is concerned, is it by increasing the number of microcredit institutions, or B, increasing the amount of credit that is disbursed to traders, or is it all of the above, or neither A nor B? How do you scale? How do you scale that type of stuff?
It's all of the above and then some. So I'll say all of the above, simply because we took 30 women. We are actually working with about, since we came in about 15 years ago, we've worked with over 700,000 women across the country. So we have about, I think about 603 branches or so in 26 states, plus the FCT. And this is just a matter of, it started small. So it started with maybe about 20 women, and they get a microcredit or get some access to some financing for 6 months, and they just keep trading and turning it over. And then, after a while, you can access more credit at a higher level, and it just continues on that. So absolutely, we definitely need the higher levels of credit. Some of them even have more than one credit type running, so they can come in and get something to start their business with, a cash one. Some of them can get assets credits to help them finance assets that they need to buy to enhance their businesses. Some can even take some for festivals, because Christmas, for example, gets very busy. So sometimes you need more funds to show up your capital, your trading capital. So that's one aspect. The other thing you asked about, more micro credit institutions.
Yes. If you right, so yeah.
We're in a country of, let's say roughly, we're about 200 million, right? And in the number of people who are living, who are economically disadvantaged are huge. They're in their millions. At one time, we were called the poverty capital of the world, maybe 2 years ago or so. So there's room, there's so much demand for the services. So there's room for everybody. So the more microcredit institutions, NGOs, players who can go out there and do a good job and do a fair job of it, the better. So absolutely. I said, and then some, because of course, we also all need to have all hands on deck. Of course, we know we have elections coming up. And everybody's talking. And I think one of the talking points, of course, we all go to politicians. We know that politicians come to market women. And one of the talking points that we all need to be asking is, what policies are you going to put in place to enhance access to credit for women like this, and even to make their businesses better and provide an enabling environment for all these businesses to thrive and to grow? Whether it's a micro business, whether it's an SME, a micro SME, a medium scale SME, or a large company, we all know what we're struggling with. So it's very important to begin to ask those issue-based questions of those who come to us asking us to support their political journey.
Gotcha.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue the conversation with Ier Jonathan-Ichaver. This is the Business Hub on Smooth 98.1.
Great, thank you.
So, where are you from? That name is...
Take a wild guess.
I didn't catch that. Go ahead.
I said take a wild guess.
Hey, dude.
Multiple choice. A.
Okay. Bayelsa. B. Edo States. A. Bayelsa. B. Edo States. C. Benue.
D, Imo.
Imo.
So
okay.
Take a pick.
With that, I'm gonna say it sounds south. It sounds south. I don't know. Ichaver, what do you think? Benue. Huh? Okay, we're going with Benue. I'm going. CV says Benue.
Well done. I'll buy you extra popcorn.
Yay! I can't wait.
Very nice. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So wait, it's IER? That's the first name, yeah?
IER. Yeah.
I wasn't sure it was an L or an I. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You guys are. It's not easy. That's there's so many. Do you ever get overwhelmed with all the traders that you assist?
Not, I would say it's challenging because, you're trying to scale. And then also, there's just so much that comes at us. I mean, of course, we've just come out of COVID, for
Right.
example, so you were trying to figure out, because typically in our previous business model, as we were beginning to start doing digitization and trying to get women, you're onboarding market women to use more technology. And that's a bit of a challenge because some are slower than others to take it on board. In the process of doing that.
So, okay, we're going back. We're going back. So you will ask you this question when we get back. We'll come back right now.
Sure.
Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. It's Business Hub here, and Rotis is in the studio, and we're having a conversation with a very special guest.
Yes. Ier Jonathan-Ichaver. She is, of course, joining us to discuss about scaling microcredits across the country. I also want to get to this as well, building partnerships with SMEs and fundraising. But Zibi, I think you had the next question for her, yeah?
Yes, and so we are in a patriarchal environment. I mean,
it is what it is. Yeah.
Do you think micro editing is a possible answer to empowering female traders?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about the skills that they also gain. And while we may be in what we call a patriarchal society, I think economically, the small, quote unquote, bottom of the pyramid, which really holds up, in our patriarchal society, we say, oh, the man is the head, the woman is the neck. And in this case, that is the absolute truth. Imagine if all market women went on strike.
Oh, wow. Chaos. That's chaos.
Chaos. And then even our farmers, because we also support some farmers, female farmers. And in many of our communities, the women, the people who feed us the most are actually the female subsistence farmers, So imagine if those were not there. So even though we are in a patriarchal society where we have a lot of patriarchy or a lot of patriarchal figures at a lot of the key decision-making, they're in the government, in civil society, big business, the people who power the economy, power the country, feed us, and so many, it is women in many ways. So the microcredit is absolutely, because if we're investing in these women, we're investing in our economy, and we see the gains. I think we'll talk about that, but when time permitting. But we do see the gains in investing in women because they put that money back in their families. And that cliche, that we say, invest in a woman or educate a woman and educate a nation. It is so true. And I guess that's why it's a cliche, because it's true. Because we've seen, as you invest these microcredits in these women, the ripple effect is amazing for their families, for their husbands, and for their communities. It's amazing what we see.
Is there because I know, look, it's not easy doing business here, and especially going from one level to the next, but have you experienced any traders that have gone from that level, from trading to an SME with maybe 3 or 4 employees, or have you ever seen any upliftment in that regard?
We have a number of them that I'm aware of, and so some of them are actually covered among those 30 women that we're talking about in a book we're launching called Stories of Impact. And the typical story you see is one woman starts, and sometimes what we see happening is they go and invite a friend to come and join them, or they invite a friend to come with her own business, and sometimes they partner or they find synergies in the small things that they're doing and try to scale at that level. Another thing we've seen a lot of is they actually bring their family members on board. So it starts off with one woman, and then she may bring her sister, or my brother, or some. We've seen families where it's a woman, her husband now comes in to help her, then their children come in to work with them after school. When they finish university, we've seen that as well. So there is scaling, but I think it's not the kind of scaling we would normally see. Some of them have workers who they also employ to join them, and support what they're doing and help them, and they pay them something. But it's not your typical SME as we know it, if you know what I mean. Where
yeah.
you do that and you put out adverts and you hire people.
Mm.
It's not necessarily that sort of whatever. Some have sales girls and they just go from one woman business and become 2, 3, 4 who are helping them sell
Gotcha.
their products. One even has shops in other locations. So she has people who has shops. I think she has in like 3 or 4 like towns around her. So she's in Aba, I think she's in Port Harcourt and all. So very interesting stories that we have, So it's good to see that happening, but we have that a lot.
Gotcha.
All right, E, I'm curious about this. You're very experienced in private sector partnerships and also fundraising. In fact, you're a consultant. For SMEs in Nigeria, what ideally should a fruitful partnership look like?
I think first, you should be aligned on values, because if you're going to work with someone, you guys should know the way you work together, your ethic, your work ethic, and it's very important, especially at that micro level, because for many of them, yes, they have access to credit and all of that, but a lot of people, as they start out, they depend on daily sales. Do you understand? So if you're going to, for example, I'm making bags and I'm partnering with someone who is going to help me sell the bags. So I make them, and I'm partnering with you to help me sell the bags. You sell the bags and you're running away with the money. It affects me and impacts my business in a way. And initially, for many of them, they don't have cushions. Although we try now to educate on the importance of, for example, having small insurance policies that can help you, and stuff like that. Some people who start out don't even know that such things exist. So there's that whole process also of educating. So one, you must have shared values, but also there must be something both parties are bringing to the table. And it has to be very clear. It has to be extremely clear from the beginning. Sometimes at certain levels, I've been in partnership conversations, with people who are not at, for example, the level of our market women, who are maybe higher level SMEs, medium scale SMEs, who, or, just service businesses, who just see each other, oh, let's partner. Okay, and we talk in vague terms and we go round and round. But what I find at that level, for the smaller SMEs and the micros, is that it's very straight up. This is what I need. I need sales. I need this. I need that. I need that. It's very clear. It's very well defined. And it must be so, because you don't have the time or the luxury of time to be going around in circles over cups of coffee or whatever. You know what I mean? So I know I've been part of some of those kinds of other discussions where we went around in circles, and in the end, we didn't take as long. We took too long to get to where we wanted to go.
Gotcha. I also wanted what you guys folks out there do send messages 0809-444-0981. But we're actually running out of time, so I quickly want to get to fundraising, because I wanted to ask you this question coming into this interview. Has technology made fundraising easier, whether you're a business or whatever, if you're crowdsourcing or whatever it is?
I mean, one of the things, of course, in this business, we've been talking about scaling, right? Even for us as an NGO, to scale to the level we've been able to scale so far and reach these 700,000 women and have this, you need funding. So even as you, the provider of these support services, you need to have access to funding. That's the main thing. So you have to keep going at it. It's the same thing for the women. Technology is very important, and it just it's a tool that we use. So in the past, for example, and we're seeing this now change things. So for example, if a woman wants to access credit, sometimes she has to come to the branch or to the office. She will fill a form and all of that. Right now, we're at that stage where many entities like ours, they're digitizing things. So in the same way you can go on your phone with your bank and just access a quick credit. Those are the things we're now working towards. So it cuts down time. So those tools are there. So in that way, for fundraising, they are easy, but the fundamentals still remain the same. You still have to look at the person's business model. So if you're going to do digitization and be able to use technology to provide those credits, what tends to happen is you have to actually look at the person's track record with you, and you will already have that from your history, or you have access to their credit report or the credit bureau. So we can have a look and see, okay, so who is this person we're dealing with? Who are we about to lend to? So it's done. It makes it easier, faster, excuse me, but just in a totally different, just using a totally different tool that speeds up the process. Yeah,
Fantastic
but the
stuff.
fundamentals still remain the same.
Great. So many more questions, but we are unfortunately out of time. We have to have you back to talk more about this stuff, because this is something that with an election, it's an exhaustive topic.
No, it is.
But we thank you. So, but the movie is on for everything, everywhere, all at once. So we're gonna keep that if it comes to Nigeria.
Do reach out. I'm more than happy to join you, and we can hang out.
Fantastic. Ier Jonathan-Ichaver, thank you so much for joining us from the Grooming Centre.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank
Sibi?
you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Ier.
you.
And
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And that's it for Business Hub on Smooth 98.1. Do stay tuned. There's a lot more to come on the Smooth Drive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, take it easy.